Winston Churchill, one of the most significant figures of the 20th century, is best known for his leadership of the United Kingdom during World War II. His eloquence, determination, and indomitable spirit were crucial in leading the Allies to victory. Here is an overview of his life from birth to death. Early life, birth, and family background. Winston Leonard Spencer Churchill was born on November 30, 1874, at Blenheim Palace, Oxfordshire, England. He was the eldest son of Lord Randolph Churchill, a prominent Conservative politician, and Jenny Jerome, an American socialite. His aristocratic lineage and influential family shaped his early life and future career. Education and early interests. Churchill had a challenging academic career. He attended several preparatory schools before enrolling at Harrow School, where he developed a passion for English and history. Despite his struggles with Latin and mathematics, he eventually gained admission to the Royal Military Academy Sandhurst, graduating in 1894. Military service and early career military engagements. Churchill was commissioned as a second lieutenant in the 4th Queen's Own Hussars and saw action in various parts of the British Empire. He participated in the Malakand Field Forces campaign in British India, the Battle of Omdurman in Sudan, and reported on the Second Boer War in South Africa as a war correspondent. His daring escape from Boer captivity made him a national hero. Entering politics. Churchill entered politics in 1900, winning a seat as the Conservative Member of Parliament (MP) for Oldham. However, disagreements with the Conservative Party's stance on free trade led him to join the Liberal Party in 1904. He held various governmental positions, including President of the Board of Trade and Home Secretary, and championed social reforms and naval expansion. World War I and interwar period, First Lord of the Admiralty. At the outbreak of World War I, Churchill was serving as First Lord of the Admiralty, responsible for the Royal Navy. He was a strong advocate for the Gallipoli campaign in 1915, which aimed to open a new front by capturing the Dardanelles Strait. The campaign was a disastrous failure, leading to heavy casualties and Churchill's resignation. Political rehabilitation. Churchill's political career seemed over, but he gradually rebuilt his reputation. He served on the Western Front as a battalion commander in the Royal Scots Fusiliers and returned to government as Minister of Munitions in 1917. After the war, he held several key positions, including Secretary of State for War and Chancellor of the Exchequer, during which he controversially returned Britain to the gold standard. World War II returned to the Admiralty. In 1939, with the outbreak of World War II, Churchill was reappointed First Lord of the Admiralty. His prior warnings about the rise of Nazi Germany and the need for rearmament proved prescient. Following the German invasion of France in 1940, Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain resigned and Churchill succeeded him. Leadership as Prime Minister. As Prime Minister, Churchill's speeches and radio broadcasts inspired the British people during the darkest days of the war. His famous declarations such as "We shall fight on the beaches" and "Never in the field of human conflict" was so much owed by so many to so few, rallied the nation. Allied cooperation and victory. Churchill's leadership extended beyond Britain. He formed a strong alliance with US President Franklin D. Roosevelt and Soviet Premier Joseph Stalin, working closely to strategize and coordinate the Allied war effort. Key conferences, such as those in Tehran, Yalta, and Potsdam, helped shape the post-war world. Under his leadership, the Allies achieved victory in Europe in May 1945. post-war career election defeat and return. Despite his wartime leadership, Churchill's Conservative Party lost the 1945 general election to the Labour Party, led by Clement Attlee. Churchill became leader of the opposition, continuing to influence international affairs. He coined the term Iron Curtain to describe the division between Western Europe and the Soviet-controlled East, highlighting the emerging Cold War. Second term as Prime Minister, in 1951, Churchill returned to power as Prime Minister. His second term focused on maintaining Britain's influence on the global stage, managing post-war recovery, and navigating the early years of the Cold War. Health issues, including a series of strokes, led him to retire in 1955, although he remained an MP until 1964. Final years and death. Later life. In his later years, Churchill devoted himself to writing and painting. He completed his multi-volume work, The Second World War, which earned him the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1953. He also continued to paint, finding solace in the artistic pursuit. Death. Winston Churchill died on January 24, 1965, at the age of 90. His funeral was attended by numerous world leaders and dignitaries, reflecting his significant impact on global history. He was buried in St. Martin's Churchyard in Blaydon, near his birthplace at Blenheim Palace. Legacy. Churchill's legacy is profound and multifaceted. He is celebrated as one of the greatest wartime leaders, whose resolve and oratory helped guide Britain and the Allies to victory in World War II. His writings, particularly on history and politics, have left an enduring mark. However, his career also included controversial decisions and policies, particularly concerning colonialism and his stance on social issues. Despite these complexities, Churchill remains a towering figure in history, symbolizing courage, resilience, and leadership.